how to create a sharp triangular pattern in Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CC220, but you could use 219, etc. I'm going to create a triangle. First thing to do, go over to the pen tool and then select shape option and select a gradient. You don't have to do this part because you could do it in the layer style. Now I'm just going to use a basic gradient and I'm going to use a linear gradient. To make it easy to create a very sharp triangle, I'm going to go to create some guides and first thing to do, view and snap, make certain that's on. And then go down to new guide layout. Set the values to about 20 and 20 because I want a really sharp triangle. So click OK. Just go up to the guide and then just follow the line all the way down. You can see there. And then just go one there, one cell, and then the other way, one cell again. And now you've got a very sharp, perfect triangle. When you do that, you can just go and remove the guides now. So view and clear guides. Now you can add the gradient now via layer menu and layer style and gradient overlay. But it's already there. So, but if you've gone for a solid fill, you could add the gradient here. Just again, go to the basic gradient there and use linear straight down. Also, you can go down to drop shadow and just set the values for the distance and spread and size to fairly low. And you can change the angle and just interactively move the shadow there. So it just gives it a bit of depth. So once you're happy with that, click OK. Don't want the background, so I'm going to go with the layers, window and layers, and just go to the background layer and delete it. Yes. So now you've got a transparent background. What I want to do, go to the rectangular marquee tool in the tools panel. Now I could define the pattern over the whole document. It's perfectly okay. But I'm just going to create the pattern using that selection. Edit and edit menu and define pattern. Give it a name, click OK. But I could do exactly the same with a different selection. So you could maybe make the selection a bit bigger or maybe deselect the whole thing and then define that as a pattern as well. You could use that and just see if you prefer that to the other selection. Remove that now, don't need it anymore. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a layer. I want to work on a layer, so first thing to do, I'm going to show you the image size. It's about 3000 by 2220 and the pattern is 1600 by 1600. So new layer there via the layer menu and then edit and fill. Contents pattern. Go and select the pattern you just defined. And script, make certain the script is on. And go with symmetry fill. Click OK. And then you get this intense design bursting out from the center. I'm going to go with the 7, the symmetry type. Set the scale to the max. I'm going to reduce that later. That creates an interesting effect as well. Set the translation width to 0. Set the height to -100. Or the minimum, if you want to set it to. And also color randomness 0 and 0. Click OK. And then you get this design. So it's massive, intense design. Now you can apply it multiple times. And you can just vary the settings for the scale and fill that. I'm going to show you that later. So undo there. You can do it again, edit and fill. Again, make certain. But this time I'm going to go and show you the other design that I created there. Click OK. You can see much the same design there. Again, same sort of settings, but you can vary the various settings if you wish, such as the scale. Click OK. And you get a fairly intense design there as well. I also created a couple of earlier examples as well before the tutorial started, but they're very similar. So you can just see different gradients. You can create a whole range of different gradients, different triangles as well. Click OK. And the same settings, just run it. So you get this very intense design. And it's all on a layer, so you can remove the layer at a later point if you wish. Make certain, again, always make certain the script is on. And you can vary, if you want to, the height as well. Personally, I think it looks best that way. So you get that design there. And then what you can do, you can apply effects to it. You can also go to Layer Menu, Smart Objects, and convert to Smart Object. And then go to Filter Menu and maybe like Liquify. Takes a few seconds to come up. And you can just distort it in numerous ways. Or maybe go for the bloat. Set the size accordingly. It's quite high there. So you can just change the design in all kinds of ways. And you can see, actually, you can see the transparency there. You can see behind those triangles. So what you can do, you can apply, of course, styles to that as well. So you can create a whole range of different designs from that as well. And you can layer it as well if you want to do that. Undo. You can also apply transformations to that smart object. So edit menu and transform, maybe like just transform and distort or warp. So you can move that around. And of course, what you can do, you could duplicate the design, move it around so you could build up quite a complex set of layers. You can also go to Layer and Layer Style, maybe Bevel and Emboss. So you can add a bevel to it as well. You see the design then has a bevel, as well as maybe a drop shadow or maybe a colour overlay. Up to you. Of course, you can go to the Styles panel and apply a style to it. So a metallic design. Edit and fill again. Make certain you're using the design. That one or any of the others. They're basically all triangle designs there. A couple of 4 or 5 designs. Script on. I always do that because sometimes Photoshop will ignore it. So I always just do it. Now, what you can also do is you don't have to use the scale to the max. I like to do that. You can set it to a lower value, and because it's on a layer, that design will be applied to a layer, and you just get that design there. And what you can do, of course, you can again turn that into a smart object. You can see the layer now, and you can duplicate that layer, fill the entire screen, layer menu, and smart objects, convert to smart object. And of course, you can move it around, duplicate it. You can also apply effects, such as liquefy, but you could use oil paint or filter gallery, another option as well. So you can distort it, create some very intense designs just by distorting it. And you can always undo if you don't want that. You can always go to the layer panel and remove that effect as well. Or you can go to edit and transform. And instead of distort, you can maybe use warp. You can warp the design in numerous ways. So drag it around. Once you're happy with that, click OK. Of course, once you've done that, you can go and hold down the Alt or Option key and drag. Make multiple copies. So you can create quite a nice, intense, sort of like leaves over the grass. I suppose you could apply a green to it as well. And you can repeat that, fill the entire document. And of course, what you can do, you can always resize them, rotate them. You don't have to keep them at the same angle. You can always go to, or you can just flatten the entire thing as well. And then you can apply effects to them. Or maybe you could, of course, convert all the layers into a smart object and apply effects via that. Of course, you could also go to the 3D menu and use that as a map. Apply oil paint via the filter menu and stylize. Apply it 3 or 4 times. And you can also go to adjustments. So maybe you want to colorize it. So image menu, adjustments, hue and saturation. Bring that over and click colorize. Increase the saturation, etc., and lightness. And press OK. And you've got your lovely red design there, but you could, of course, make it green, blue, or maybe apply a gradient to it. Edit menu and fill. And of course, what you can do, you can add, again, make certain the symmetry fill is on, additional layers to that. Or just apply the design over and over again to the same layer. So you've got the design. Obviously, I've got the background there, but you don't have to apply it just once. You can always go to edit and fill. Again, patterns, contents, exactly the same setting, but just change the scale each and every time. Reduce it down, press OK, and you can see you can build up quite a complex design by simply going over the same settings, but just reducing scale each and every time. Of course, you could apply hue and saturation each time and maybe recolor it in different ways. Reduce that down. So you can create a much more intense design than just applying it once. Click OK again. And now, of course, what you could do, of course, you could add this into an action. So maybe do it 5 or 10 times, then just create an action with that. So each time you reduce it down, just apply it. So you could create different triangles or different other shapes and then repeat that same set of commands each and every time to create sort of these intense designs using these values. And of course, you can always go to the filter menu and apply effects to that as well. Or maybe go to the image menu and recolor that as well. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel, always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator and many others. A comment or two, always appreciated. Dislike or like. Thank you much.